Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Do It For Yourself. Okay, so today I want to talk about what I feed my dog, how much of it, and more or less what the cost is. First thing I would recommend is if you have a big dog like I have a golden retriever, he's about 100 pounds. My advice is get a membership to a warehouse like Costco or Sam's Club. Because if you like to prepare your dog's food like I do ahead of time, then it's going to be beneficial to have a membership so you can save money and make all this ahead of time than the kind of deal you might not get if you went to your local grocery store. Now, if you have a smaller dog like a Chihuahua or something very small, then I think it's okay to go to your grocery store and get your items there. But for me, getting all of this at Costco is a huge savings because I've compared prices and the time it takes to shop from store to store. And for me, going to a one-stop shop like Costco, it works perfectly. Okay, now the first thing I like to get is ground beef. I get the ground beef at Costco is about $4.50 per pound, and I think it's like 80-20 or 80-15. I can't remember. Sometimes you can find the ground beef at your local grocery store for like $3.99 a pound. I would say get it if you can. But if you have a membership at Costco, you know, time is money for me. So I just get it at Costco. So usually I do 3 1-gallon bags of ground beef for my dog. Okay? Then I get some chicken legs at Costco. I also like to grind these up using a grinder. All right. I will get 2 packages of chicken bones for my dog, and they're usually about $10 to $12 a package, and you get quite a bit. I boil them, and then I take the meat off and I grind it. So that works out perfectly. And you will have leftover. And whatever leftover you have, you can just freeze. But basically, I make 2 1-gallon bags of chicken leg meat in here. Then I usually do a bag and a half of brown rice for my dog. All right? You can also get the brown rice at Costco as well. I do a bag of broccoli for my dog. You can, if you want to add something to the mix, you can add some Brussels sprouts. He can have this, okay, or she. You basically want to, when I boil my broccoli, I let it cool, and then I break it into his food, into his mix. I do the same with the Brussels sprouts. Wait till they get soft, and then I'll cut them down. Put it into the mix. Apples. I usually get a whole bag of apples. Get the cheapest apples you can find. And then I cut them down small enough so that they digest. If your dog is anything like my dog and he just likes to gulp his food down, well, make sure the apples are cut small. In fact, anything you feed your dog, you want to make sure that you cut it down to a size to where if he does like to just swallow his food, that it'll digest properly. Okay. Anyway, you can feed him apples. You can also feed him spinach. Spinach has I think it has vitamin A, vitamin K, I think vitamin C, and it has fiber. All right. Everything, all these items in the spinach are a great source of nutrients for humans, for things like heart, vision. They're just as good. I mean, they serve the same purpose for your dog. So this is a great nutrient for your dog, is spinach. I also like to give my dog, when I go to Costco and I buy their eggs, I buy the 5 dozen. And then I take a rack of that, I put a whole rack of eggs into the blender, and then I mix it with scrambled eggs, and then I put that in his food too. What I use is a bin like this that you can get at a Sam's Club or maybe at Costco. I know you can get them off Amazon, but I get these at Sam's Club. I have 2 of them. Sometimes I make a lot of food ahead of time, and usually I don't think this will yield me as many days, but usually I get 23 to 28 days of food for my dog with what I have here. And if there's anything else I might add, which could be small, I'm not sure what else I would add, but I'm just saying. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you me putting this into the bin, mixing it, then weighing it. We'll be right back. Okay, so I ended up cracking all these eggs into this blender. Now I did add a little bit of milk, won't hurt your dog, to kind of give it more volume. So we're going to go ahead and blend that. And then over here, let's see here if I can get this situated. I have the Brussels sprouts boiling. Okay, I have already done the broccoli. So they're not real soft, but they're soft enough to break into the food. And remember, everything's going to go into that bin. And over here, I've cut all of the 1 bag of apples here. And again, guys, make sure you cut the apples small so that they digest it properly. Over here, we got all the meat products that we made for him. And then we have our spinach. I have a little bit of green pepper over there that you can use because dogs can have it. And all these items have the nutrients that we need, your dog can have. If there is, say, a vegetable that you want to get for your dog and you're not sure if he can have it, simply just look it up. Find out if he can eat it. Find out how much of it. Now, by the time I mix, let me get this situated here. Okay. So, by the time I mix all his food in here with everything I have here, it's going to look pretty. It's going to look wholesome. It's going to inspire you to want to make your dog's dog food, because it's that or a clump of kibble that's just, in my opinion, guys, it's just poison. It's like giving canned food to your child for the rest of their life, expecting them to stay healthy because of it. It's not going to happen. So make a change now, okay? If you can. Let's see here. What do I got going? Okay, so let's go ahead and blend this here real quick. Okay, I'm going to take that over to the stove and get that all cooked up. Okay, so let's bring the camera over to the stove so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. It's really hard to be a one-man show here and do all this, guys, so I'm sorry if, things aren't as smooth as I would like it, but maybe someday I'll be able to afford a cameraman, who knows. Okay, so So I've got this deeper pan that I bought from Costco quite some time ago, and I use it for his eggs, but you can use it for other things. I'm gonna wait till that gets a little hot. The other thing I want to mention, guys, is when you boil your dog's vegetables, if you decide to go that route. Try to use the clean water that you might use to drink with. I don't use any of the tap water that comes that we get here in Arizona, even though the tap water is regulated through the city and it is drinkable. It's not, in my opinion. Okay, when it comes to water, I'm a bit of a water snob, and I really feel that your food tastes only as good as the water you use to make it with. So try to just go get one of those 3-gallon containers of water. Keep it full with clean water that you can refill, and you always have something clean water to work with, instead of that tap water that makes everything taste, in my opinion, awful. Anyway, so I think we're almost ready on the sprouts. Takes a while for the sprouts to get soft. And I basically just boil them whole, and then when I get them out, I let them cool down, and then I can cut them down to put in his food. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and throw in the eggs. So this is basically 2.5 dozen of eggs. I get 5 dozen pack, and I use 2.5 dozen. Is that right? Wait a minute. 2.5 dozen, 12 and 12, 5 dozen. Yeah, that's right. So, and then with this, what I do, just get a little wooden spoon here, or any spoon, and I keep it on high, and I just keep mixing it, and you'll feel that it's cooking toward the bottom. Just like that. All right. Okay, guys, we'll be right back. Okay, so one thing I wanted to show you is that once your scrambled eggs are done, you're gonna get what looks like a little burn here and there. It doesn't have to be that way as long as you continue to stir it, but it doesn't really bother me, and it still works just fine. But basically what I wanted to show you was, once all of your egg is done, get one of these, and I'll put these in the description for you. What's really cool about these, I don't know, I'm going to call it a masher. It's by Farberware. Is you can actually cut your egg in small pieces. You can also use this kitchen item for chopping ground beef even smaller than just using, say, maybe a spatula like this. Okay, this works great because it has 5 sides to it, and it chops everything much quicker in smaller pieces. So watch. This is what I'm doing to it right now, and I could see it cutting everything down smaller than if I were to use, say, something like this, and it would take forever. Use one of these, and it goes so much quicker. It's probably one of the best investments I ever made. Actually, this was a good investment, and so was this lid. Because the cool thing about this lid is it fits most 12-inch. It has ridges on it here for like a 12-inch, 15, or I think maybe even bigger than a 12-inch, like a 16. I don't know. That looks like a 15-inch pan. But anyway, great little lid to use if you have multiple pans that you don't want to use different lids for. This works great. Plus you can see through it as to what you're cooking and how that's going. But anyway, so I already turned off the stove. We're chopping all this stuff, all these eggs, and we're making a lot of work, very little, simply because of this kitchen tool. It works great. Now I'll cut it a little smaller than that, but this is what I wanted to show you. Look how fast it was able to chop down all that egg. All right, guys, so we're going to take the camera to, we'll be right back. Okay, so starting from your left, we have the spinach. So all I really did was take a glob of spinach and then just kind of cut it with my knife both ways a little bit. Again, we're focused on your dog digestive system so that he digests it and it works the way that it should and gives him, you know, all the nutrients he needs. Then we have over here the Brussels sprouts. I basically cut them down in half and then in quarters. The goal really here is just to make sure that they're soft so that your dog again can digest it. Over here we have our apples. You can see how small I made those. And then when it comes time, we're going to take the broccoli and we're going to put that into the bin as well. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay guys, this is where you get to revel or enjoy the fruits of your effort. At this point, this is where you're going to put everything that you put together, all of your dog's food, and mix it. So it doesn't matter in what order, but I like to put in the meat first. Meat or rice. So let's start with the rice. Now I'm about a bag short on the rice, but we're just going to put it in. And I keep the bags for the next time I make his food. I have the bags that I could reuse. If you don't have the bags, again, Costco sells these Ziploc bags. They actually now sell their own brand called Kirkland, which is even a better value, and they're bigger for less. So hey, you can't go wrong with that. Okay, so let's see if I can get a little closer on this here. Actually, the inside of it, which is what we want. We want you to see what it looks like in there. Okay. All right. Now we're going to throw in the first batch of chicken leg meat only. And again, I grounded it up real nice using a grinder. Invest in a grinder. It doesn't matter, you know, Amazon, whatever you can get or can afford, so that you can grind their meat really small. See? So we're going to put that in. Now, if you're going to reuse the meat bags, it's very important to store these back into the freezer. Okay, not the fridge, but the freezer, because then the meat, whatever's in, well, I would rinse them first, then store them back into the freezer, just so that they stay, you know. I don't know. I just think it's better that way. I think it'll stay sanitized. It's a weird thinking of mine. But anyway, just clean them out really well and air dry them and then put them back in the fridge. And then I got my other bag of chicken meat here I'm going to put in. See that? Looking pretty, isn't it? Okay. Now, we're going to go with the ground beef. I know it looks like a lot of meat and stuff, but by the time you mix it all up and you put it in the containers, it's not that much. Okay, so I'm going to throw these bags away because I've reused them a couple times, so I think we're done with those. We're going to throw another bag in of meat. And at this point, I think what I'm going to do is just mix it up a little bit. Okay? You can see the rice mixing in there real nice. Look at that. Look at that. That's gorgeous. And he loves it. He loves this stuff. It's like heaven to him. It's like, I remember when I used to give him kibble food, he would eat it. But man, nothing like this. I mean, you can eat this, guys. It's so much better for your animal. Okay. I've got one more bag of ground beef that I'm going to put in here. And throw that away. You see the bin is filling up fairly quick. if you love your dog as much as we love him here, and even, I'm sorry, I shouldn't put it that way. Some people can't afford all of this, but the reality is I was spending about $150 a month or more for dog food. And when I started making his food, I realized that I was actually spending less for better food. Wasn't much less. I think on average I spend about $120 a month for his food now. But it's a lot of sweat equity is what it is. And for me, it's just worth doing it this way, setting aside a couple days a month to get everything prepared, because if you have a dog as big as I do, it's going to take you a couple, 3 days to prepare all of this. You know, buying the food, grinding the food, putting it in packages if you have extra, stuff like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and start putting in the, you know what, I'm just going to throw in the broccoli. So remember what I said with the broccoli, I like to put it in and then just break it up as it goes in. You just got to make sure that it's soft enough so you can break it up, right? There we go. Same thing with this. Okay. I'm not going to go through all the broccoli with you on this. I'm just going to show you, okay? Since I already have this all chopped up, we're going to throw in his apples. Just throw it all in, guys. This is 1 bag of apples. Sometimes I have to use another bin to mix them, to mix it all up. Hopefully I won't have to do that. That's a pain in the butt. Okay, there's all his apples. Now we're going to mix that in. Mix it as you go, makes it a lot easier. And mix it really good. Okay, I still have the broccoli I need to put in there, but I'm not going to do that right now because that's going to take a lot longer. Okay, just for now. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and mix the spinach. Make sure you cut the spinach down. Put a little bit at a time to see how well it covers. If you think you need more spinach, you'll know because it'll start looking way too green. Then you'll go, well, the spinach to the rest of the food ratio doesn't look right. Just put enough in to look right, whatever right is for you. I want you to look at this. Oh God, this is so beautiful. Look at this. Look at all of that wholesome. I don't even have words for it because this is going inside my dog. So much better. Okay. We're going to throw in the Brussels sprouts. Okay. So I had a little bit more spinach in there. Okay. Let's go ahead and mix it now. I think that's enough on the spinach. Now I'm going to see how it's filling to the, getting closer to the top here. I know that I'm probably going to yield about 23 servings of this food for him. Alright, so yes. We cannot forget the eggs. Throw it all in, all of it. Just like that. Get it all in there, guys. Still pretty hot, so mix it up with my hand. If you have gloves, just get a box of those gloves on Amazon, those food gloves, or you know, when you get the gloves that I get, I'll put a link in the description for the ones that I use because they're affordable. And when you get them, just make sure you always rinse your gloves under the water, you know, because it goes through this manufacturing process. And they do have food gloves, but honestly, I've never, you know, I don't buy food gloves per se. All right, look at the color. It almost looks like looking out into a garden of food. Now we're going to mix that up a little bit. You see how it's all starting to come together, guys? Okay. That's enough for now. I'm gonna finish up, and then we're going to go ahead and weigh his food, and I'll show you how I do that. And then I'll give you my final thoughts. Hey folks, well, we're back. This is the end result of mixing Charlie's food. I mean, it looks absolutely fantastic. Now you want to make sure you mix it really well. I suspect I'm going to yield about, like I said earlier, between 23 and 30 servings. So this is about a month's supply of food. If I'm lucky, maybe I'll get more than a month. But for the most part, I have about a month, about 28 days, or between 23 and 28 days. Anyway, I'm going to cut this off, and then we're going to show you how to weigh this. Hey guys, so I want to show you how I weigh Charlie's food. Now for his weight and size, basically you get one of these containers. You can buy these off of Amazon. I'll put a link in the description if you decide you want to do that, or just get whatever you can at your local warehouse store, whatever. And for his weight and size, we're looking at about 1.25 pounds. So basically I've got the scale at 0, and I like to put the food over the bin. Now I've already mixed all of his food over here. This is just a quick demonstration on how it is that I do it. So this is just the leftover. I'm going to set that to the side, and we're at 1.25 pounds. Since we have a little more in here, I'm just going to give that to him off to the side, and that's it. So this is the way it looks. Doesn't that look great? He's got his protein, his fiber, everything that you or I could eat, he can eat here. I yielded about 27 containers, as you can see. Sorry for the movement, guys. About 27. And that's not bad. The total cost, and this is just kind of an approximate, the total cost for his food for about 27 days is roughly, see, the chicken, the ground beef, and I've done this many times, so I pretty much have an average. It was less than $100 for his food here. Less than $100. Now, when I was buying kibble, I was spending over $100 every month for his kibble, between $80 and $100. And giving him more or less the daily allowance, that's when I was very naive to what it is that I was doing to keep him healthy. Now that I know what it takes to keep him healthy and hopefully disease-free for a while, this is so much better. My final thoughts, guys, is I know not everybody can do this. We all lead busy lives. I get it. And some of us don't even have the funds to do this. But whatever you're buying for your dog now in kibble, you could probably in some way give him real human food instead. Like if you're eating at the dinner table, you can make him an extra plate and put it in his bowl. I mean, the reality is, whatever you're eating, if you just prepare it a little differently, just his portion, he might be able to have. And that will still, in my opinion, be better than any kibble that you can buy. I wish they would simply outlaw kibble. Kibble to me, for a dog, is the same as how the pharmaceutical and the medical industry works. Doctors don't stay in business when you're healthy. They want you to be sick. Otherwise, they don't have patience. So, the Food and Drug Administration, the medical industry, the pharmaceutical industry, they're all in on it. Call me a conspiracy theorist, whatever. The reality, the bottom line is, you have to be an advocate for yourself. You have to want to be well. And if you love the animals that are with you in your home, you have to give them the same, attention and the same care. Anyway, guys, I think I've got my point across. I've got 27 servings here. I'll start making more probably in the next 15 days and store it in the fridge, some of that food in the fridge, so that I have it ready when it's time to make more for another 27 to 30 days. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video. And if you have any comments, feel free to ask any questions. And I would also ask that you please subscribe or even share this video. Thanks again, and good luck with you and your furry friend.